Failing in Las Vegas is like hating the dentist. It's pretty damn common. Here are the top 6 ways people fail when they move to Las Vegas, and make sure you stay till the end because the last one is going to be the most surprising. If you're moving to Las Vegas without a significant amount of savings or without a good paying job, it's likely you're going to have a really hard time find a place to rent to buy. The reason for this is because the Las Vegas housing market has absolutely exploded over the past couple of years. Rents have gone up and housing prices have also just shot through the roof. None of the lending restrictions or rental restrictions or anything like that have been eased. So you're still having to qualify for more money now up front. You're having to provide more proof of income, more proof of this, more proof of that than you ever were before, because now the market is more expensive than ever and there's more competition than ever. So those landlords and those sellers really want the most qualified applicants to have their houses. And I should really know about this because this is the mistake my wife and I made when we first moved to Las Vegas. Neither of us had jobs, we didn't have significant savings, and I actually ended up running out of money 3 days before I got my first job accepted, and that was after we were here for about 2 months, and that was a couple years ago. So right now, it's even harder than it was a couple years ago. When you finally find a place to buy or rent, more than likely it's going to be quite expensive because, like I said, the housing market, that rental market has just absolutely gone through the roof in the last couple years. Plus, Vegas isn't really famous for a lot of high-paying jobs. So as the wages have kind of stayed stagnant, maybe gone up a little bit, housing and rent has far outpaced those wages that most people are going to be paid. According to ZipRecruiter, the average salary in Las Vegas comes out to be about $3,500 to $5,300 per month. Now, that is quite good, I think, in a lot of cities, but here in Las Vegas, because of the housing market, because of the rent increase, it's not uncommon to have a rent that's $1,700, $2,000 a month, maybe even $3,000 or $3,500 a month, depending on the size of the place that you're renting or the size of the place that you bought. After taxes, bills, insurance, etc., you're not going to be left with much even on a salary of $22 to $33 an hour, which is the same as $3,500 to $5,300 of income every single month. And the end result of this is that you are not saving enough money every month, and that leads to not being able to cover unexpected charges like damage to the house because of a storm, or maybe your car breaks down or something like that. And when those unexpected expenses hit and you can't pay for them, that causes you to have to compromise in other areas of your life, and then that makes it that much easier to fail when you're living here in Las Vegas. Another huge cause of failure here in Las Vegas is alcoholism. Now, as I'm sure all of you already know, Las Vegas is absolutely famous for its parties and entertainment. I mean, that's the whole reason the city exists. According to Safe Home and the United Health Foundation, Nevada drinks the 4th highest amount of alcohol out of all the states. I'll link the study below. Alcohol also happens to be one of the most expensive things here to purchase in the city. It's very easy to go out, even to a place like Applebee's or a Denny's, and if you like to drink, spend $100 or more on alcohol. And when you start talking about expensive clubs and different places like that throughout the city, the casinos, for instance, it's very easy to purchase a couple of $20 or $30 drinks, and before you know it, you're way over budget for the night. However, alcohol is not the only expensive and drug that is legal and that gets abused here in Las Vegas. The next one, which is also a super important reason for failure, is marijuana, or we'll just call it weed. Weed happens to be legal here on a state level in Nevada. It also happens to be more expensive than alcohol. And I guarantee if you fall hard into the drinking and drug scene out here, smoking weed or maybe doing harder drugs, I almost guarantee you are gonna blow through all of your money very quickly on all of this stuff, and you're gonna end up completely broke or working a couple crappy jobs that you hate. And I guarantee that is definitely going to lead to you failing here in Las Vegas. But the number one vice here in Las Vegas is absolutely the most famous, and that's going to be gambling. You'll find when you live here, you will see gambling everywhere, 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 everywhere. And I tell you this because when most people come to visit Las Vegas, they really just stay to the Strip, maybe the old Strip, those parts of town, so it's obvious. Of course you're going to run into gambling there. Everywhere I look is a casino because it's a tourist area. But when you get out of the Strip, When you get out of Fremont Street and Old Vegas, you still see it everywhere. On a ton of corners, even close to your neighborhoods where you live, at gas stations, at grocery stores, in the airport of all places, you will see gambling. It's ubiquitous. On top of that, something like 1/3 of our local population in Las Vegas works in the tourism industry. So more than likely, again, I almost guarantee it, you're probably gonna know somebody who has easy access to a casino, like VIP access or something along those lines, which is gonna make it even easier to get out there and gamble and get addicted to gambling. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but if you have an addictive personality, if you like to gamble too much, drink too much, smoke too much, whatever the case may be, Las Vegas might not be the city for you. Please carefully consider it, guys, and if you need help, go get some help. The next reason people fail here is that they can't handle the heat. Now, honestly, I feel like this is kind of overstated in a lot of people's videos, but it is worth talking about because it does lead people to hate living here and essentially fail and want to leave. If you cannot learn to tolerate the heat or learn to love it, hopefully in most cases, then you're probably gonna learn to hate summer after living here for a few years. My best advice to you about the heat is to start waking up earlier in the summer, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and get as much of your day done between that time and about 10 a.m., maybe 11 a.m., because that's when it starts to get really stinking hot and stay that way pretty much all day. And I heard a great quote kind of about waking up early, and I think it really applies here and applies to living in Las Vegas in the summer. And went something along the lines of, if you wake up early on the weekends, then you're actually sleeping in Monday through Friday. That's really great advice for Las Vegas. Highly recommend you follow it. But by far the most surprising way people fail out here, and I surprise people with this all the time telling them, is the isolation of Las Vegas, or not necessarily the isolation of the city, but how easy it is to feel isolated as a person or as a small family group living in Las Vegas. And now you would think that because you're living in a party city, maybe you like to go out and enjoy those parties, enjoy the party scene, that you would be meeting a lot of people. And while that's kind of true, it's not really true. And before I get into this, I just want to remind you guys, I absolutely love Las Vegas. I've lived here for 6 years. I'm raising my family here. My wife's from Nevada. We absolutely love living here. So don't kill me in the comments for saying this, but y'all deserve the truth. And you know me, I'm gonna give you the truth as best as I can. So let me put it to you this way. I've lived here for 6 years in 3 different neighborhoods. In that time, I have only been approached by my neighbors 2 times. And both times it was just useless small talk, no exchange of phone numbers, no, welcome to the neighborhood basket or anything like that. Plus, Las Vegas is a very transient city. Because I think we have such a high failure rate, there's always people moving in, there's always people moving out, especially moving in now with so many people flooding in from California or from other more expensive real estate markets that are up north where it's colder. But a lot of people leave Las Vegas in the summer or in the winter and go back to another city to work or go back to another city to live. So it's hard to stay constant friends and be in constant communication with some of the people that live here because of the natural ebbs and flows of the city depending on what season the city actually finds itself in. But if you're moving to Las Vegas because you're looking for kind of a Midwest small town vibe, you want to get into a niche of a neighborhood and really meet everybody and form a great community, that's not really the vibe that you're going to get here in Las Vegas. And I know a lot of people here, and I would say that none of them would say that that's what their neighborhood and that's what their experience in Las Vegas has been like. And speaking of experiences, I really hope you got some value from this video. If you did, please go down below, smash that like button and that subscribe button. I'm gonna put up a video on the screen right now that I think you should be watching next. So go check that out, and also head over to my channel, check out the rest of my content. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you later.